Grant Hill's got a new book out. It's a memoir. Wow, you know it's important if it's a memoir called Game, on sale tomorrow. Wherever books are sold, the Hall of Famer was in San Francisco for the Celtics Warriors. Joins us this morning from New York City. Did you know you were almost traded for Kobe Bryant?
No. And I don't know, there's so much stuff that's out there nowadays, Dan. I don't know if that's entirely true or not. And the reason I say that, I was a pending free agent. And you would think if they were really seriously going to trade for me, they would want to know if I would re-sign with them, and this being the LA Lakers. And so I never heard that. I don't remember that. It could have been the case, but it sounds it sounds that maybe Phil Jackson might have been interested in the idea, but nothing ever came of it further than him, sort of maybe pushing for it on the Lakers side.
Kobe was only 22 at the time. You were 26. But Phil, I guess he had to have second thoughts on this, but he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep Kobe, and he benched him. And that I guess that he thought about trading for you. That's what I heard. That's the information.
Yeah, no, and I've heard that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember that being something back in the day, and my Detroit years, ever hearing that news.
Do you remember the first time you played against Kobe?
Yes, I do. I had a great game too. He was coming off the bench. It was his rookie year. Dale Harris was coaching. They were playing in the Forum. And we played them, and I had like 34, 15, and 14. We went to overtime. He was, you could see the talent and you could see the upside, but he was still coming off the bench. He wasn't the player that he ultimately became. The big jump, the big leap for Kobe was from his first year to his second year. His second year, think about it, he was coming off the bench and was voted as an all-star starter in that game in New York where he was matched up with Jordan. I met him for the first time, though, when he was in high school, and we played the Sixers in the old Spectrum, and he came by our shoot-around with his father during his senior year. And Doug Collins was our coach, and Doug played with his dad in Philly back in the early 80s. And so I met him then, and I knew about him because Duke was recruiting him. So I am trying to push push Duke on him and like, hey, you should think about Duke and this, that, and the other. And he's thinking about the NBA. So, but nah, he was a great talent and sorely missed.
I've been kind of struggling with this last night with Draymond Green, that Steve Javie during the broadcast said officials are aware if somebody has one technical and you want to give them a little bit more leeway that you adjust. And this is before they decided they weren't going to team up for the play against Jaylen Brown. Help me understand this. That, like, do players want this? That you don't want, hey, we don't want to change the outcome of this game, but you're changing it because you're allowing Draymond to stay in, and maybe you officiate him differently than you do somebody else.
I think players only want it when it positively impacts their team. So I think for last night, Golden State, yeah. Look, when all that was happening and I was in the back with Steve Smith and Shaq and Dennis Scott for NBA TV, we knew that he wasn't going to get that tech. We knew he was going to stay in the game. And, it's
would you have given him a technical, Grant? If that was his first technical, not his second, would you have given him technical?
I think being objective, Dan, and looking at the situation and understanding the rules and going by the rule book, I think he deserved it, warranted a tech. But, I think we all understand the game and how it's played. And, so, and I think he kind of knows that. Like he played, he knows that, I got to go above and beyond to get thrown out here in this game. And I think he kind of used it to his advantage there in that game because he was the agitator all night for Golden State, which they needed, and it helped. And his presence, I think, really set the tone, particularly on defense.
But how many times did you guard Jordan and get whistled for a foul even though you didn't foul him?
I didn't guard Jordan a lot. I'll tell you the other way around, where he would guard me and foul the you-know-what out of me. Like, I'm thinking to myself, y'all didn't see that? I tell the officials, like, y'all can't be fans. He's got enough fans here in the building. You got to be officials. Man, Jordan, look, Jordan's my GOAT. He's my greatest of all time. And he competed on both ends of the floor. But he got away with a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to tell you that I got away with a lot. And so when I was in Detroit, I had a certain reputation and respect, and I could get calls. But then I went through the injuries and all, and then later on, I'm a role player in Phoenix. I'm not getting those calls. I'm thinking to myself, hold up, y'all used to give me that call.
Yeah.
And so they know who's new. They know who's who, and they will adapt, I think, accordingly.
Grant Hill's new memoir, Game, is on sale tomorrow, wherever books are sold. Toughest topic that you had to talk about was what?
I think two things. One, I think being vulnerable about, my insecurities, my lack of confidence, just sort of laying out there warts and all, particularly high school, college. I think that was tough. And I think giving a detailed account of my injuries. One of the things, and I talk about it in the book, Coach K used to always tell us, next play. That was one of his mantras, next play. So regardless of what happens on the court, good or bad, move on to the next play. Keeps you in the moment, keeps you present, keeps you focused. Well, I kind of lived that way. And so going through those injuries, I didn't dwell. I didn't have a pity party. I kept thinking, okay, what do I have to do to be better? What do I have to do to get back? Okay, I got a crutch walk. I got to use crutches for 3 months. I'm going to get stronger. Everything was just sort of to get through it and to ultimately try to come back. And I think the process of going back and living in that moment and really trying to okay, what was I feeling? What was happening? And unpacking all of that, that was actually hard. And at moments, and at times made me upset because I felt like the medical community let me down. And I felt like I was on this incredible trajectory. And as good as things were, they could have been better. And I never really got a chance to see that through. So sort of living, look, I almost had my leg amputated. People don't know the story at all in terms of what happened. And so to be able to kind of go through that, on one hand, it was, I think, ultimately liberating and therapeutic, but it was hard to do in terms of executing.
Who's going to be most upset by what's written in this book?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll tell you one thing. I felt like this, I had to be authentic and honest and transparent. But I had my junior year at Duke was not smooth sailing. And I talk about some of my issues and angst and frustration with Coach K. And I get into that. And, a lot of it had to do with me being hurt and not being able to play. But, I'm a little worried, Coach is going to, he may not know all of this. And he may not know, that I was thinking all of this. It was going through my mind. And so I was very, very nervous about that. And this is how people, but I felt like it's important to put that all out there. And as great as those years were at Duke and magical years, and we had great success, as my wife says, it's not all rainbows and lollipops. And there were moments of tension. And so to share that was something I was nervous about, and more nervous about how Coach K would receive that. And now I did give him the book, and he wrote a blurb, but I'm not sure if he read that part or not.
The book is called Game. It's from Grant Hill, on sale tomorrow wherever books are sold. Great to catch up with you again, and thanks as always, Grant.
All right. Appreciate you, Dan. Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break. Last call for phone calls right after this.